All right. So we had a whole interview before the interview.
Yeah.
What's good, relatives? Welcome to
Oh,
Holistic Hip Hop.
yeah.
I'm your host, Ra Imhotep. Imhotep is an acronym for Music Heals the People. You are now tuning into the Holistic Hip Hop Podcast, a space where we're merging together hip hop and the realms of holistic health and wellness. And today, I got a good brother in the room, Francis Verges. Let him know how you feeling.
Oh man, I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling good. Yeah.
So after
I'm
that little breath work session we just did right now, he just led
yeah.
us through some great breath work.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And that means a lot coming from you, from seeing all the breath work you do and all the practices you do. Uh I'll be I'll be breathing with the videos and everything. I'm like, nice. Wait, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's nice to receive
Yeah.
sometimes too. And you did something that I rarely ever do, and you sparked an idea for my own practices. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's
each
what it's
one,
about.
each one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were saying that breath work and like qigong and stuff like that has been one of the most helpful things when it comes to your seizures.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the main things they recommended, like, first off, I want to acknowledge that, like, I don't have wholehearted like epilepsy. I have small levels of epileptic activity in my seizures, but my seizures are caused from a significant amount of trauma that I've been through in my life. And then they know nothing else about it. So they diagnosed me with a disease called FND, functional neurological disorder.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
and so with seizures. And so the seizures are stress induced. So the easiest way to explain this is that say me and you are about to play baseball tomorrow, and someone who bullied me when I was a child is on the other team, and I know that the day before. My mind and my brain will basically tell me all this information, process this information, and then I'll have a seizure trying to like figure it out and everything because I'm stressed out about it. And then I could not walk tomorrow or my arms won't work. So
Mm.
my body physically manifests stress and then brings it into a physical disability.
That's wild, and it's just like kind of different every time.
Mhm. Yeah, like for one point I didn't talk for 3 months. That was one of the things. Like I not even just talk, I didn't make any noise out of my mouth. I couldn't hum, couldn't the only thing I could do was whistle because it's not part of your vocal cords or anything.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Did you
Yeah.
whistle a lot?
Yeah, hell yeah, I whistled a lot because I couldn't fucking sing. Oh, it was annoying as hell.
That's another way to sing though. Yeah,
Yeah.
hustling,
Yeah.
whistling and humming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I couldn't hum, couldn't do none of that, but I could whistle because I used my teeth to do it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm.
but um, yeah, so Qigong and breath work, um, they, it's one of those things where you're physically exerting yourself if you do it for long enough. And that's good for your mental and your cognitive function and everything when you go back into daily life after you've practiced. um, you have a lot more control and a lot more clarity walking through the world after you use such practices, in my experience.
Yeah,
Uh,
my experience too. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So that's what helped me um, kind of be comfortable in my skin again and be like, I have disabilities, but it's not my whole life. It doesn't have to take over my whole life. And it is a big part of my life, and I've had to realize that now, um, as a 31-year-old male. Had to realize that now that I do have severe disabilities. However, that just means I do more intense breath work, more intense qigong, like for longer periods. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh,
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
I've only actually heard of this what do you say, functional neurological disorder. I've only heard of it 3 times, and I've heard of it 3 times in the past like 2 weeks. But one person I was talking to, they're telling me that they had this period of time where they were like having a really hard time walking, and the only thing that got them through was humming.
yeah.
Like they would like fall down and then they would start humming and they'd be able to get back up and keep walking. And so they were just like humming all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. Well, in my experience, it's like trying to get your mind off of what's going wrong
Mm,
momentarily, and that kind of helps you, or helped me get out of that. Like, because I kept trying to hum for that 3 months or whatever. I kept trying to sing all that stuff, and actually, within the 3 months, I had one day where I talked, and like I like laughed out loud or whatever, and I had one full day where I talked, and then I had a seizure, and then I didn't talk for another month
mm,
after that. And actually, at the end of it, I was just like thinking. This was like in a bath the day that I talked again, and I was in a bath, uh, in an Epsom salt bath, and I was just like trying and trying and trying. In my brain, I was like, I just called to say I love you,
mm.
and it didn't come out, and I was like pissed. You know what I'm saying? Vein popping out the middle of my forehead, everything, and eventually it came out. I thought I heard it. This is how your mind plays tricks on you. I thought I heard myself hum it, so I was like, uh huh, uh huh, uh huh, in my brain. But what my partner heard was,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh fuck. Like, so I just kept trying, like all night long or whatever. And she was like, that's fucking amazing. Like, oh my God. And then eventually we're about to go to sleep. And I turned over and I just really thought about what I was gonna say. And I was like, I was just trying to say, I love you. And I said it like out,
Mm.
and it was perfect, my tone of voice and everything. And I was like, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying? And then I hugged her and went to sleep. And then yeah, and then the next day I was just fucking singing and dancing and all kinds of shit because I hadn't been able to do half, like half of it for so
I
long.
bet that was so joyous, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it was that that was one of the hardest times in
Mm,
my life. I've been through a lot of crazy stuff, but uh, that was the hardest for me because I've used hip hop and R&B and singing and dancing and poetry, um, for most of my life to facilitate healing. You know what I'm saying? And to vent and to know other people around me, to tap in with the community and everything. So when I couldn't use my voice, I wrote like a madman. But when I couldn't use my voice, that that put me in a deep dark hole. That was that's I shared my story of like suicide with you, and that's when that happened, when I couldn't talk, and I couldn't share my thoughts like you can through text, right? And like I had my iPad and I made the letters super huge so I wouldn't have to write a bunch of stuff all the time for people. And I even tried learning a little bit of sign language and stuff like that. Like I know bathroom, happy, no, yes, like stuff like that. But because I was so trapped in a dark circle in my mind, I couldn't learn anything that would actually help me.
mm. Damn.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Like I wouldn't. I was like, no, like, because deep down in me, deep down inside, I guess I never truly believed that it would be forever. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, no, why the fuck I'm gonna learn sign language if I'm gonna talk again? Like, fuck that shit. If I realize now that it was part of my it was part of my mind being like, if you learn sign language, you're giving up.
Mm.
I was like, oh fuck, like that's crazy, and that's no disrespect to anybody else. I'm just saying in my specific experience, that's how my body felt. That's like that just resonated with me at the moment, and being like, if I learn sign language, then I'm giving up on ever talking again.
Yeah, that I could see that.
Yeah. And so I was like, I don't want to fucking do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to sing, I want to rap. I got a bunch more albums to create. I got a bunch more
Mm.
poetry to create. I got to talk to people
You got
about,
beautiful things to say.
yeah, yeah. So it was just, yeah, it was. But within that within that process, that's actually when I looked up Udemy, um, and looked up like uh neurofeedback, looked up biofeedback, looked up tapping, qigong, akashic records reading, breath work, tai chi, like all these different things to try and facilitate healing for myself on the inside, instead of always trying to find an outward source of like trying to figure out, because I went through battles with doctors or stuff where it was just like, oh, we're gonna do this scan and we're gonna do this scan and we're gonna check your heart, we're gonna check your blood. And so that's an external source plugging into me,
Hmm.
trying to figure out the problem from the outside in. But really what I needed to do was figure out the problem from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I did. I really, really tapped in to myself. Uh, and I found some scary shit. Like, so, yeah, so like, a lot of people don't sit in the darkness comfortably. And I've sat in the darkness comfortably since I was like 13. And so I'm not afraid of learning the hard lessons. Now, what I do have a challenge with is learning easy lessons in the light and just listening to what's right in front of me.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's real.
yeah, yeah.
So going back, your actual name is Francis Verges,
Hmm.
right? But is there a spin on that name at all?
Yeah. So um, I didn't have I didn't have a rap name for a long time. Like, and I didn't want to go with a rap name for a long time. I was just like, nah, I'm gonna use my name. You know what I'm saying? Because I was ashamed. I was ashamed of my name because I'm a junior, and my dad, I've only seen him about 3 times my
Mm.
whole life, and he been in and out of prison and stuff. And so at that time when I was like 16, 17, I just wanted to go by Francis Verges. Um, and I was working with this cat named Jaws Attack, Jaws ATAK 47. Um, and we were trying to figure out a name for me. And I forget some of them. I just said this shit on the Hip Hop Humble podcast, but uh, I remember I came into his house one day and he was like, "What about King Verge?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, shit." You know, I was like, hell yeah, because I was really trying to get down on my freestyling game and stuff like that, and like I was freestyling and staying up there on the mic longer than like most of the OGs and stuff, and so I was so they dubbed me King Verge or whatever, and um, I I liked that name for a little bit, probably about until I was like 21, 22. I didn't even bother changing it. And I didn't really even record. I recorded a bunch of stuff, but it was like sacrificial bars. You know what I'm saying? You record at that one homie's house and he never puts it out.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So like I recorded hundreds of songs, and they're just in someone's computer somewhere. And then on one occasion, I recorded a whole album of like it was like a 2-part album, and we were working on the third part. It had 23 songs, and that homie's computer crashed,
Damn.
and so I was like, oh man, and that was music from when I was 14 until I was like almost 20 years old.
Mm.
Uh, and so it showed so much growth and all these things. And I was just like, all right, well, I can't do nothing about it. So just sacrificial bars, whatever. And then uh, probably when I was about 21, I met Dylan. and like the word humble thing was happening at 21, 22, something like that. I could be messed up on the timeline, but uh, I went to go to the poetry and I just listened for about like 2 years without doing anything. I didn't really go up on stage or write anything. I just listened because I was like, what is this? Like, this is crazy. And uh, when I was 23, I got in this relationship with this girl or whatever, 23, turning 24 or something like that. Uh,
I
and I
think that's when
started,
I met you.
huh?
I think that's when I met you.
Yeah,
Mine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I met you, your brother, and then and I met a lot of cats, you know what I'm saying, within that period. And then I started writing poetry. And then I started coming to poetry every Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? And uh, then I started going by Verge because I didn't feel like being called a king. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm not no self-proclaimed king because it kind of doesn't feel right. It didn't feel right to me that like every time I told someone my name was King Verge, I also felt like I had to explain that someone else dubbed me King Verge. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like you might as well say your name is King Verge and then insert asterisk and long definition.
Someone else dubbed this
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
the
so
Duke of Santa Ana.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So but yeah, um I went by Verge after that, but yeah, I'm kind of like jumping around all over the place. But um, after that, I just went by Verge, and lately now I'm just going by Francis Verges,
Hmm.
uh, so that I kind of don't have. I started to feel different when I would perform poetry and when I would perform hip hop. Uh, when I went by the name of Verge, so I felt like what happened with me in poetry is I gave too much of myself,
Mm.
uh, within hopes that like people would like me or see me as normal or you know what I'm saying or not or see past my disabilities and stuff like and just love me for the amazing person that I am and stuff. But that
I love you for the amazing person you are. Let me just say that.
thank you. Uh, it I I just went um I went way too far sometimes on the stage. And I realized after I got off the stage that I was only doing it for attention sometimes. And I was like, is that me? And then I realized that's Verge. That's this alter ego that you built up. Yeah. And you're just letting him fucking take it and go as far as he wants to with it to get a reaction out of
Mm. That's kind of the scene and the energy in a poetry space. For those who haven't been in a poetry space, oftentimes it's like almost just like the darkness Olympics, trauma
yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah, yeah. It becomes a pissing contest. You know what I'm saying? Even if even if the other person don't even know they're in a contest, you're like the way that my brain was working, I was processing a lot of trauma at that time that happened to me years and years ago, like all throughout my life. So I was finally in a place where I was processing all that trauma in a healthy way, but then I would take it in an unhealthy manner
Mm.
to get a reaction out of people. Just let me trauma dump real quick on everybody on this stage. And so before I was even ready for that catharsis, I would force myself into little fissures of extreme healing. And so I would go on the stage and spit all about me being molested as a child. You know what I'm saying? And I go as gritty detail as I could. For one point, it was necessary. I had to do that in order to know I shouldn't do that unless I'm truly ready. For the second point, I wasn't ready, and I knew that after the first time I did it, but I kept pushing through because of the attention.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm saying, even though it sometimes wasn't even positive attention, sometimes it was negative attention, sometimes it made people feel uncomfortable, which uh I would warn people and stuff like that. But now I'm in the space where I realized that I was just giving my all to people that don't even fucking know me, and that stage don't even know me like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And also that stage not gonna hold me when I'm crying and just
And when
scared.
you're shaking, you know,
Yeah, and scared the
I
fuck.
remember that actually a couple times. Like you know, you get all shaky from it.
Yeah, because I would take energy that wasn't ready to be harvested and put it in my body, kind of
Mm.
like Iron Man or whatever, if you want to.
Yeah.
I put the wrong part in my chest. It wasn't ready for testing yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't do all the science behind it. I didn't do all the math and calculate everything yet. And I put it in there anyway. But basically, what I did without all that test and all that math to make sure, I put a fucking nuclear reactor in the middle of my chest and just let it beam out to everybody, and did more damage to myself than facilitate any healing for myself or anyone else in the room.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's you know that's a really interesting like just point and like topic of discussion is like you know when is it catharsis that's actually constructive and helpful, and then when is it catharsis that's like stifling and almost suffocating? Because I've definitely seen that a lot. I felt like it started to evolve towards the end of Word Humble, but
Mm,
when I first got there, it was just like, you know, it would seem like people are having this experience where they're letting this thing go, but then
yeah,
they end up in the same cycle,
yep. Yep.
and it was just really interesting to experience that. And I went through the whole thing myself too, with you know trying to get into the poetry myself, and had to go through my own journey of learning like what's too much and all of that. Still go through that journey, I guess now, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, here's something that I'm working on right now as far as hip hop goes. Um, it's a good theme to go by. Um, like superheroes, shit like that, but mostly vigilantes, right? Like Batman or whatever. So within some of the universes of Batman, he tries so hard to find the Joker and find the killer of his parents. He tries so hard and gets so lost in that investigation that he becomes like the Joker
Mm,
and becomes the villain in the story. In moments he loses his clarity and gets stuck into the trauma and the pain and becomes vengeful. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my thought process is, I tried so hard to process what people had done to me in my family, and tried so hard not to be like my dad, and tried so hard not to be like my mom and not to be like my grandma and everything. I tried so hard not to be like them. In a weird way, I ended up being like them.
that's the trip. Yeah, I on levels I've definitely done that as well with my own family and parents. And
Yeah,
I've seen it in other people too. I'm not like my mom, and I'm just like, bro, you acted just like your mom.
yeah, yeah. And it's crazy to bring awareness to it too. Is like the most important part of the lesson. You know those feelings where you have, I guess most people call them epiphanies or whatever, but for me, when I have epiphanies, I feel that shit all through my scalp and
Mm,
like through my ears and everything. Kind of like I shed some skin. And now this is the new Verge, or this is the new Francis. You know what I'm saying? Because I've learned from that lesson finally. It took me 30 years, or it took me 25 years or whatever. And I finally listened, and I connected that little piece of the puzzle. So now I can shed that little piece of skin or
mm,
whatever. And so uh, that's what happened when I figured that out. And I started bringing awareness to, like, yo, I'm trying so hard not to be a bad guy and trying so hard not to traumatize people and be rude to people like my family was to me, that I'm becoming my family in a different way. I'm not purposefully traumatizing people, as in like yelling in their face and calling them names and talking down to them, but I'm purposefully throwing my trauma at other people.
Mm. I could definitely resonate with that. There was a period of time where I did the same thing. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna try to hurt people in the same way I was hurt, or hurt my parents in the same way that I was hurt, but let me like almost hurt myself in front of you. So
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy, man.
yeah, it's sacrificial, right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you're thinking that you there's a part of you that believes you don't deserve more, and
Mm.
that's the part that built up in me. You know what I'm saying? That was like, I don't deserve more. All these people call me beautiful, a beautiful human, and I'm unique and I'm talented and all these things, but I'm just a fucking little sack of liquid. You know what I'm saying? And I don't deserve any of the love, and I don't deserve any of the power or any of the gratitude or any of that. And so that would facilitate uh the the ground for me to write and perform even like the freestyles and stuff, um, that were detrimental to my health. At one point, I did a poem about me being molested, and I went too deep and went really far into it. And when I went into it, it triggered a PTSD flashback
Mm.
on stage, and I fucking finished my poem, and then I like stormed outside. And I remember a couple cats came from there. Some of the cats from City Hippie came out to check on me. Uh, I remember you came to check on me. Dylan came to check on me. Um, I don't, I don't remember. I think her name was Coco. That lady came to check on me too, and they gave me some water. And I remember I was drinking the water, and then I broke the cup because like I was still going through the flashback, and then I sat in the back of the car, in the back of Dylan's little gray Honda Civic, um, sitting in the back of his car, just like going through the flashback still. And I remember Coco was talking to me and stuff like that, and I don't even remember what she was saying because my eyes literally felt like a projector,
Mm.
and all I could see was that whole scene that I replayed up on the stage, and I could smell everything, taste everything, feel everything, and I was right back into being in a scene of molestation. You know what I'm saying? And so I was reliving all of it back in that car. Didn't even feel like I was 24 or 25 or whatever. Felt like I was still 8 years old.
Mm.
And so when I finally went through it or whatever, I came out, and then my girlfriend at the time came over, and she's like, "You want to go over to my house?" and stuff like that. Went over to her house, and I just like stared at the wall for like 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, "What's going on? Like, are you all right?" All these things. And uh that relationship is like that relationship suffered a great deal because I didn't know. I'm still learning who I am, but I did not know that I was becoming who I am. And so it was kind of like everything on the outside, put it this way, it was like everything on the outside of the cocoon was everything on the outside of the cocoon. And I was about to become a butterfly, and I was getting out, and I didn't care about nothing else, the dew or anything like that. So anything that's on the outside of the cocoon is on the outside, and I'm on the inside. So I'm trying to perfect this beauty and everything. But within beauty, I believe that within beauty there's true ugliness, and that's it's all encompassing. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I call people beautiful, I'm like, yo, you're beautiful. And some people be getting defensive. No, I'm handsome. I'm a man. I'm like, no, it's not like that. You're beautiful because you encompass what people need to learn from the universe right now. You're all encompassing. That's what I mean.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
The cocoon. that was really it was interesting you brought that up because when you're talking about the shedding part, that's what I was imagining. I was like, you a butterfly. I was
Yeah,
about to say that, but I stopped myself from saying it.
yeah, yeah,
And then you said it.
yeah. No, yeah. It's I've had that. I guess it would be called an analogy. Uh, I've had that within my mind since I was like 8 years old.
Mm.
At one point, when I want to like get like real lyrical, I call it a chrysalis. But
Hmm.
uh, but it's like,
I
hold on,
just wrote that word in a recent verse like a couple days ago.
my dog wants to come in here. She's like, come here, hi, buddy, hi. Funny. She scratched at the door, and then when you let them in, they don't come. It make no sense. Sorry about that. Uh,
It's all good.
yeah, but yeah, it's with catharsis. It's important. It's important that you're honest with yourself to facilitate that healing. Charlie, just come in. Stop.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
This is Charlie.
I'm like, what are you kicking the door for, bro? Just come in. All right. All right.
I could pause it real quick.
It was sweet.
Those are my favorite kind of dogs.
Yeah, little bulldog.
Mushy face.
Yeah. Come on, Charlie. Go inside. Go inside. Go inside. Go. There.
Like, you know.
Yeah. It's fucking, that's gonna be fun to edit.
No, I'm just gonna leave it in there.
Yeah.
All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into to one of your songs
Yeah.
on the project, Ego Pain. I think that's my favorite song,
Uh,
actually.
you
But
like that one?
I love that one. You have that's the chorus, I think, why does this hurt? Or is this pain simply being born of?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you touched a little bit on the really wild experiences that you've been through, the pain that you've been through.
Yeah.
What is it, what is it that keeps you going through all of that, through all of that's already happened and knowing, the potential of what can still happen?
Um.
Because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't continue to create.
Yeah. Yeah. First off, hope. Like hope that, hope in myself and in people like me. Um. Just like always thinking that if there could be this much bad in the world, there's equally this much good. You know what I'm saying? Because it's balance. I believe in balance.
Mm,
Um, and the other thing is, I shit you not, I cannot live without hip hop. I like if I don't rap, like I feel off because like my pancreas is kind of jacked up, so I fasted for 3 days, all
mm,
liquids or whatever. And today's the first day that I broke fast. I broke it with a banana. And uh, like I feel off because I didn't go to the cipher yesterday.
mm,
And, like that's my hour and a half where I get to like freestyle and rap with the homies or whatever under the bridge. like and I haven't missed one for almost a year or something because when I miss it, I can feel it.
mm,
I can legit feel it. If I don't write, if I don't when I'm by myself and stuff like that at the house, when I get blessed, I'll rap for 3 hours
mm,
by myself. It don't have to be written, nothing. I actually, it's worse when it's written. I'll mess up my writtens because I don't write on anything. I write in my sober state of mind and stuff. And then I practice in my sober state of mind. And so when I get blessed, I actually mess that up because I'm using a different part of my brain. Uh like I'd like to say that honestly, I'm not even using my brain. Uh, I just connect and let whatever happens happen. But to answer your question, I can't live without hip hop. It I'll start scratching and like I'll be itching and I'll be irritable.
Mm.
I won't eat. Like all kinds of stuff could happen or whatever that I've noticed when I can't write and when I can't articulate my thoughts through hip hop.
I feel you on that. Yeah. I definitely feel off. Like I'll if I don't go a couple days without rapping, because I usually rap before I go to work, just like practice outside of work at the park where
Yeah,
like I have there's not a lot of there's the highways right there, so I could be as loud as I fucking want. So I'll just be like belting my songs.
yeah,
And when I don't do that, I just start feeling off. I feel like depressed. I'm just like,
yeah,
what the I feel like life doesn't have a purpose anymore.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. And I think that's because we are uh it's our gift.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for like an example or whatever, like a literal example of a gift, when you was younger and stuff like that, and you got something for Christmas or your birthday, and someone came up to you and was like, "Yeah, but don't open that one yet." You know, say you got the gift in front of you, but you can't open it yet. They'll open that one last because so and so ain't here yet. The person who bought it for you, or you get it taken away. You know what I'm saying? Because you was like, for me when I was younger, I snuck into the closet one time and peeked at one of the gifts or whatever, and they were like, "All right, cool. So that one you're not getting until next Christmas." You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And so you have the gift, then you ain't using it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that pays a big toll on your mind and on your mind state. So it's the same thing with us, with rapping, with hip hop. If you're gifted in that way, in that sense, it's part of who you're supposed to be, who you're how if you believe that like everything's written and everything like that, you're supposed to be writing your own history. So when you're not, your whole being is disrupted. It's almost like if you don't write for long enough on some like Back to the Future shit, you're gonna disappear.
That's yeah. I
That's
I
how.
get that. I get that analogy. Yeah, I can feel that tangibly.
Yeah, I was like, no, you don't get it. Like, if I don't write this shit, like, I'm gonna disappear. Like, I'm my own dad. Like, I'm my own grandpa. Like, fucking, we have the same soul. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
See, and also it's like keeping the spirits alive that live within us,
yeah,
and also bringing the spirits that are to come after us.
yep, yep.
I feel like
Because
I'm speaking like from my ancestors and also speaking to like my fucking grandchildren, my grandchildren, great grandchildren when I'm
yep,
rapping.
yep, exactly. And it's crazy. Some like with Ego Pain, the first two verses came out like that, like super quick, because I just listened to what my ancestors wanted to say and stuff, and I was like, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. And then I couldn't write the last two verses for 3 weeks
Mm,
because I wanted them. So is the first verse is about uh pain. You know what I'm saying? Just pain on being judged and not being understood. Right. Second verse is about me, basically. Uh Third verse, or I might have those confused, but third verse is about race and other types of pain and things that we're ignoring. Fourth verse is about pain and healing
mm, mm-hmm.
and how to heal. So it's like I was I was like, all right, I wrote these two verses and I was like, fuck, but the song gonna be like hella depressing if I leave it like this. And I was like, so let me sit on it and let me really feel what I want this song to sound like and feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I sat on it for a long, because I had a problem for a while there. Pretty much when I got out of homelessness and I recorded When Francis Made Friends, and then when I recorded Freedom Isn't Free, but This Is, those are on SoundCloud. I just wanted those to get out. And so I fucking rushed those. Like I rushed them. And sometimes if needed or whatever, like Hello or whatever, wasn't rushed. Like that just came out of me that fast. And I didn't feel rushed. I felt completely good about what I was saying. Bones wasn't rushed. Those were songs that like I felt I truly said what I wanted to say in the moment. But a lot of those songs were rushed and just trying to get a thought on the board, and then I didn't rewrite and didn't edit them at all. I just wanted it to be raw. And so I put it out there. Freedom Isn't Free, the whole project is freestyles that I did over YouTube beats or whatever. And that was because I wanted to tap into to like not worrying about what people think. So I really wanted to tap into that and just let my antennae do my antennae thing. You know what I'm saying? And just take in everything and just let my ancestors speak through me. And that was a beautiful project and a fun project. But with this project, I was like, now I want to bring them together. Now I want to bring my ancestors and bring this like third dimension view as well, so people can understand. Yeah, and so
That's really what it felt like. You did a great job of executing that, or of giving life to it, rather.
yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I mean, Ego Pain is one of my favorite songs to perform too, because it's so many bars. That's that's 416 bars, bro. Like I was, I was like, what possessed you to write this, bro? Like, cause after I finished writing it and recording it and everything, I was like, am I gonna perform this? That was the intention. The intention was not only to mix and balance this song, but I also wanted a song that was me, like only me, that I could perform in front of people. Because I kept telling myself, I ran into you one time at a show, and I was like, bro, I can't remember my lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm having seizures and everything. So I told you that, but I also told Rowdy that, and I also told uh Flo J that, and I was telling everybody that, and that made it real for me. So it made it really hard for me to remember anything. And so then I also wrote Ego Pain to contradict that statement. And so I practiced every day in my room. I hooked up my mic to my little speakers and used the Bluetooth speaker to play the instrumentals and practice, 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 practice. And the ATL show that we were on was the first time I performed that out loud in front of people.
Mm-hmm. That's the ATL. Like for those who don't know, the ATL is the biggest venue in Arcata for sure.
Yeah. And I opened with it too. And I didn't know that until like 2 days before we did the show because they couldn't find an opener. But then they were like, "You want to be the opener?" I was like, "Oh shit."
Remember that? You're like, fuck.
Yeah. And so like outside, I remember during the show outside, like before everything starts or whatever, they're warming everybody up in there. I'm smoking cigarette after cigarette, just like listening to the instrumental in my headphones, saying my verse, saying my verse, saying my verse. Super nervous. But then when they called my name, I remember the first step going up the stage, and then it just felt like the microphone was floating in front of my face.
Mm.
I was like, I don't really remember any of it. Hopefully, someone recorded it.
You
But
just got taken over. You just
yeah, no, just completely. Yeah, I don't even like, even when I'm trying to recollect, trying to like think of the memory and like process that. I only remember the first step and then the mic, me noticing that the mic didn't have a cord. And I was like, this is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I can move. I was like, all right, cool. And then that was it. I don't even remember the performance.
Well, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were all in it.
Yeah.
You were all in it. Everybody could feel it. Or at least I could.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's important. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. No, but thank you. I like Ego Pain took a lot to write. It took a lot out of me to write, but it also gave a lot back. Uh, and like helped me to be like, no, you're an MC, you're a rapper, like you're a hip hop artist, and remember that you're creating this album to create the balance and to help facilitate healing for yourself. Actually, with that intention, that's what that whole album is written for.
I was about to ask you that. What was the intention with the album? And I think it's also accomplished healing for the listener too.
Yeah.
Because I've been listening to that album a lot in the last couple weeks. And
Yeah.
it's healing. It's definitely healing to hear. It's
But
rare. It's rare that you find hip hop music that has that level of vulnerability and healing within it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I look for it. You know what I'm saying? I only really find it in you. I only really find it in, you know what I'm saying, Knack One. I only really find it in Rough Ian. Like, that's what makes hip hop humble so unique. And it's like, and I'm not saying that nobody else does it. I do find it in other little spurts, but that's just it. I only find it in spurts. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it hasn't popped yet and become like a whole corner of hip hop yet.
Hmm.
Uh, that's noticed by everybody. But that's okay, because basically what we're doing right now is we're creating an apothecary. Damn it, I don't know.
Apothecary. I don't know. Fuck how
Uh,
you say the word.
uh,
Is that the
uh,
word you're trying to say?
uh,
I think it's apothecary, but I don't know.
yeah, I think I'm saying it wrong. A cop. That messed me up. I don't know why that messed me up so bad. But we're creating. Oh God. Oh, oh man, why is that messing me up so bad?
Apoc. I
Uh,
don't know.
you know what I'm saying though,
I
right?
think we're
Like,
overthinking it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know what
no,
you're
yeah,
saying.
you know what I'm saying though. So basically, we're we're creating our own little herb shop
Yeah.
over here, and we don't really give a fuck about what other people got to say about it. We're doing this to facilitate healing because we believe in it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it. And so it's just great to see other people trying to do the same thing. Um and it's crazy because like there a lot of us are hermits. You know what I'm saying? We be staying on our own, doing our own thing, doing our own practice, and staying alone for the most part. I'm really a hermit. Like I don't be out at shows and stuff like I told you because I'm sensitive to lights. I can justify telling them not to put the flashing lights on when I'm on stage and stuff, but they ain't gonna not do that the whole show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying like a venue's not gonna do that or whatever. So I
They
can't
could.
really.
They probably won't.
Yeah, they could.
I would.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't have the motherfuckers in the first place.
yeah. It don't make sense, but anyway, it's it's like they, um, they're it's really loud. There's a lot of fucking people, and like I basically feel like an old man when I'm at a show because I'm like, there's no good
Grandpa.
food.
Grandpa Verge.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, there's no good food. I was like y'all don't got nothing that's nourishing for the body. Y'all got bar food, first off.
Mhm.
Um, Second of all, it's loud as fuck in here. Like y'all need to get the sound man to make their vocals a little bit louder so I can actually hear what the fuck
Yeah.
they saying instead of just the beat. Uh, and which Shiny's very good at that. Shiny is one of the best sound mans out here. And so and then the lights just fuck with me, man. And so I'll be outside smoking cigarettes and just listening from the corner
Mm.
because I can't really be in there like that. So I got to get these glasses. They're like $200. but they block certain spectrums of light or whatever that are known to cause seizures. And I just don't have the money to get them. And then I wear earplugs because I can hear really well, so I can hear you even through my earplugs or whatever. So those are some things that I can do, but also transportation. So, but yeah, uh, back to your questions. Sorry, not to take it over.
Uh,
Yeah,
we need to start doing some freaking La Russell type, like, daytime shows.
man, that's bro. I've been trying to do that since Word Humble.
Mm.
I've been trying to tell people to do that shit since Word Humble. But here's the thing. Here's the kicker: is that um, most people want to be out at nighttime.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm saying like it gives them something to do with their night and stuff, and look forward to and stuff like date night
But I feel
and
like
this,
also it's a culture I feel like we should challenge too, because we want to do all these things at night that we shouldn't be doing at night. Shouldn't
yeah,
be eating at night. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? We should
We
stop
should be
eating like
sleeping.
5, 6 o'clock. Like when the lights are down, all the lights should be off. Like we shouldn't be out at night. But
I know.
somebody's got to challenge that. That's why I love what the Russell's doing out there with the daytime shows.
Yeah, well, it's also you get a day still.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or you get to enjoy your night however you want to. You ain't got to go out there and be in front of a bunch of people at like 9 o'clock at night, bro. And
And
then,
you're gonna like go right to sleep after that most of the time, or you're gonna be,
or you're gonna
inside.
be up. What I freak out when I get home. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh man, like that's a lot of energy. Now I gotta wind down. Oh, I didn't
Hmm.
eat anything, so I gotta eat something too. So I'm like eating at like 11 o'clock at night, and then I'm also trying to process what just happened. You know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah,
so,
contradicting.
huh?
So
Yeah,
which is contradicting.
yeah,
Can't
exactly,
digest and digest at the same time.
exactly. You can't. Yeah, exactly. So and us as people, especially like here, like United States or whatever, but it's like we're always it's like we have this like false assumption that we can do anything we want.
Hmm.
uh but within that frame of mind we never do what we should. You
That's true.
know what I'm saying? Or very little. We spend very little time um, prioritizing things that would benefit our health or benefit our sleep or benefit our mental health or even our spirituality. And we spend a bunch of time prioritizing shit that's just going to keep us entertained
Yeah.
or full or, you know what I'm saying, or like fill that gluttonous side of every human, just like eating a bunch and then also watching people cook food and you're eating like
It's wild, huh?
yeah, and people probably never even thought about that shit. Like, and that's what I'm saying is like you never even some of us, especially if you were raised in like a regular household and you were raised in like public school and stuff, they didn't teach us how to critically think.
Hmm.
They taught us all the same way, expected all of us to have the same answer on sheets, expected all of us to walk in a line, march in a line like the military, march in a line. You had to go to bathrooms at a certain time. You had to fill out basically a fucking, you had to fill out a goddamn affidavit to go to the bathroom. And then you had to have,
I used to just go to the bathroom. I got in trouble all the time in kindergarten.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
we
it's
had a
like,
bathroom like in my classroom, so I'll just get up and go.
yeah, which makes sense. You know, that's what humans are supposed to do, just like every other animal. And that's another thing. We need to realize that we're animals too.
Mm.
We're not we're not humans and they're the animals. No, we're all fucking animals because if you had to take a shit and there was no bathroom around, you would take a shit on the floor.
You are squatting and taking the shit. Yep.
Exact, just like every other animal. You know what I'm saying? If you was jealous
Pro
and
tip, by the way, squat, squat.
yeah, yeah,
What is it? Papa squat?
yeah. Like it's real. We we just need to realize that um, we're not so different. Also, on the other side of that, to create the balance, realize how powerful we are. Like
Yeah.
when someone, like I've heard people say, you're unreal and you're an alien to you, like, or about you. You know what I'm saying?
About me?
Yeah, about how you rap and
Okay.
your verses in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, damn, he's unreal. Man, he ain't real. He's an alien.
Hey, no, fuck.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, he's human.
I'm very human.
That's the thing. Like, we need to give power back to ourselves as well
Mm.
in the right way. Instead of getting like this big ass ego and being like, yeah, we're fucking top of the food chain and all that shit. Shut up, bro. Because if you stand in front of a tiger and that motherfucker's hungry, you're going to get ate.
You're gonna find out real quick
Yeah.
who's at
Don't
the
matter if
top
you
of
have
the
a
food chain.
gun or whatever the hell. It, like, if you don't pull it fast enough, if you don't do it fast enough, we are still one of the weakest animals on
Oh,
this planet.
yeah, one of the weakest. A
Yeah.
deer can probably fuck you up.
Yeah. If a
Even
deer
probably,
sneezed,
definitely.
if a deer sneezed and kicked you, it go through your body. They can kick. Yeah, they can kick strong enough to go through a car door.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and they can jump on average around 6 feet
Mm-hmm.
on average. So imagine if he's scared.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if he ain't just chilling and he's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna jump this fence real quick. Like if he's actually scared, imagine how high that motherfucker could jump. So we need to have that balanced approach, in my opinion. We need to have that balanced approach of you know what I'm saying, like you're just you're a talented human. You're not so talented, you're not so much more talented than everybody else that you're an alien now. And nobody can ever reach your level of lyricism or your level of thought. Now, I will
I know
say,
not.
I will say that nobody will be like you because you're you. Somebody will be similar, you know what I'm saying, and probably learn from you. There's probably some kid out there that's your fucking fan, just like me or whatever, that's just like, oh, like listening to your music is just like, oh fuck, it's like a brain massage. Like uh,
I
uh
appreciate that.
yeah. And uh so there is that aspect, but I also listen to your lyrics, and that's what makes you fundamentally, instrumentally, non-coincidentally human. Yeah, saying you're not an alien. You're just an amazing fucking human. Yeah. Like, and we need to acknowledge that like humans can be amazing and also humans can be dumb and idiots and say stupid shit and do stupid shit. I mean, look at politics, for example. I won't go into
God.
detail, but yeah, I won't go into detail, but look at politics. That's why we
Parlor
avoid,
tricks.
yeah, that's why we avoid them.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a whole nother world. They've
I
created.
appreciate all of that love though, man. Same. You're an amazing human.
Thank you.
And I think sometimes people do think you're an alien too, but
Yeah,
so down to earth that people think we're aliens, you know?
yeah, yeah. Makes sense if you don't understand. It makes sense um in what humans have done throughout history. When they don't understand something, they try and destroy it or defame it. You
Yeah.
know, so it's it makes sense that when they don't understand something, instead of letting it naturally take its course, they try to do the opposite of understanding. They try and deconstruct it and just completely, uh, basically, like they didn't understand. I won't get into this debate or anything like that, but I will say, like, they didn't understand the Earth could possibly be round until people brought that up. You know what I'm saying? I won't even say, and they also didn't understand that the Earth could possibly be flat until people brought that up. And I also brought this up on the other podcast I was on, that like people need to Don't get so don't get so stuck up in your mind about your opinion that you displace other people's opinions, because science was made by humans.
That's real.
At one point, science didn't exist. We made science. You know what I'm saying? So it shouldn't be the only way that we find answers.
Yeah.
Because what if we make another algorithm that is greater than science, but you shut it down, that could explain everything in this world way quicker than hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's yeah, kind of already happened in ways. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I've thought about that my whole life. I'm just like, well, like I love science and everything. I really do. Like it was one of my favorite subjects growing up, and um, I always had that question. I was like, well, why is science the standard? What was it? What was the standard before science? Because in order to make science, they had to be smart enough to create an algorithm, right? So what was before science that created science? And what and you know damn well that if science was already all these things and built up by all these different people, they had multiple choices to choose from to go forward, just like language. What are we going to make the main language of this main land? We have multiple choices of languages, but we want to communicate with each other thoroughly.
What are
So
we going to agree upon? I think that's a big part of what science is, and
yeah,
in language too. It's like, what do we? Okay, this is water, and herbs. But like we had to collectively choose. That's what we're calling this thing, herb
yeah,
water.
yeah,
Like instead of pop pop. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Instead of yeah, exactly. So that's that was just my
How
little
much does that create our reality? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, just don't in my opinion, don't close your mind so much and be like, no, it's fucking science, you idiot. Like I've had people say that, like, and get so mad that like remember that one time, um, long time ago, we was sitting in the parking lot, we're sitting on that wall of wild berries, and some drunk lady walked past us and was like, uh, what did you say? Because we were talking about death. And I had just experienced a loss or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but my grandpa's not dead. My grandpa's in all of us. You know what I'm saying? And I remember just my said, yeah, your grandpa is in all of us. Like his energy could possibly go through. He could be up there. He could be down there. He could be anywhere. The possibilities are endless. And that lady got so fucking mad. She said, no, like my brother just died. He's dead. Like, and that's it. Like scientifically speaking, you can't. And I was like,
We only see 0.0035% of the light spectrum.
yeah,
No, no shit.
no, we're
Don't even know
man.
what we don't know.
Yeah, we're squishies, man. We're little squishies. That's it.
That's
Like
squishy.
the, I'm just saying, we're fucking jelly bags,
Define
and
the word squishy.
yeah. So the little squishy just means that most of us, most of us is sensitive and soft and wants to be cuddled and taken care of, and and we ignore that to be tough, to be
Mm.
rugged, to be smart, to be cool, to relate to other people. We ignore all those things. We're all little squish bags. And then also the other thing about it is we try and give all these fucking thoughts and ideas like we really know what the fuck we're talking about, but we're honestly still babies. We're on like how how do you how else do you think that we still learn at 70 years old?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Our
Not fully
lifespan,
formed. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's even theories that basically you die when you've learned enough.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you've learned enough from this life, so your body is done, regardless if it's through cancer or through getting shot or whatever. The universe will find you even if you're hiding in a box.
Yeah.
And so there is a theory, which I believe, is a possibility that once you're done learning everything that you could learn from this planet, you're gone.
Yeah, actually, I've always had this feeling that even if it's literally right before the last moment you take, everything that you needed to learn and everything you needed to experience and everything you needed to feel happens in that moment. And like there's this play, complete moment of resolution with
Yeah,
everything. And I only believe that because I remember before my first memory, that's what it felt like, which is like everything was clear and resolved and blissful. So like,
yeah,
why would I not return to that which I came from?
exactly. I'm going out how I came in, not knowing what the fuck's going on, butt naked and screaming at a lady in a white dress. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I've been close to the process of death, with my grandpa, and that's what happens is you kind of come back into that stage of infancy where you can't really take care of yourself anymore, and you rely on other people. And we have this illusion with the squishy thing that you're talking about that we're not always constantly in this state of reliance because of all these things that we've built up. But like somebody was like, "Oh, I built this all on my own. I came from the ground up." You got a whole team of people or your people who are supporting you, like
Yeah.
YZ, there's always factors and forces that are building us up and
Yeah.
protecting us. A lot that we can't even see, more that we can't see.
Yeah. We're more connected than we would like to admit. We spend a lot of time trying to separate each other. And even more so, you spend more time trying to identify yourself instead of being.
Mm.
But I would be willing to bet that we spend more time trying to figure out who this person is outside of the world and trying to figure out your special little story and everything that you miss it. You
Yeah.
spend so much time you spend so much time trying to explain it that you missed the explanation. The whole story's playing out without you because you're trying to figure out the story because you ain't living, you ain't being, you ain't living in the moment. In my opinion.
Your opinions are always welcome. You say something about that in a song. I can't remember the lyric, but you're like, if I'm sharing my opinion, just mean I know. No, I mean well. What was the part?
Yeah, yeah. It's fucking if you're good to be good, don't worry about hell. Um and I'm just sharing my opinion. So just know I mean well. And I think that's gravy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. I think that's my second favorite song right there.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I feel, I feel blessed today.
yeah, yeah. That one,
It be playing in my head all day.
yeah, that was really fun to record because it was the first time where I tried that low and slow voice, and I was like, let me just be fully. And it's not like I ain't fully present, but I was trying to be like radically present with every word and like full breath control, full tone control, and just the simplest rhyme scheme I could think of, and just be real simple so even Bobby Joe from Alabama could listen to it and be like, that rhyme's pretty cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like,
Shout out to Bobby Joe from Alabama.
yeah, exactly. Respect. um, and so it's just like, I'm grateful I woke up, thankful I can talk, or thankful I can walk, grateful I have people who listen when I talk. You know what I'm saying? I was really trying to put a lot of information into a really simple rhyme. You know what I'm saying? It's just if you just listen, if you just sit back and listen to it, there's a lot that can play into those simple ass bars. Yeah.
Actually, that's what I was thinking when I was listening to it the other day when I was riding my bike. Like, it sounds so simple, but because I have the context and I know you and I know like a lot of the experiences you've been through, like saying I'm grateful that I could walk, like that's not just saying something, like
Yeah.
you've actually not been able to walk.
Yeah. Exactly. It's
And
yeah.
somebody who else who's experienced that would, resonate with that.
Yeah. Exactly. And so it, it's also that's that's part of it that feels good that like people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like my little Easter egg or whatever in some points and stuff. Cause I did like a poem the other day at the uh I forget the poetry event, but the one that Vanessa does. Uh
Okay, yeah, I forget what it's called, but I missed it, but I definitely want to go to the next one
yeah, she does it once a month. Right.
at the sanctuary.
Yeah, exactly. At the sanctuary. So I did a poem and it was all made up or whatever. And it was just it was all freestyle and not made up, but it was my life. And so I'm freestyling and everything. And then Dre Meza comes up to me and he was like, that was so fucking sick. And the craziest part is most of these people don't even know that just came from nothingness and funneled into you. And I was like, yeah, man. Like, but that makes me happy that like I could do that. And part of them, I guess that's kind of like it's like a blessing, but it's also kind of mischievous. That's like the little mischievous part of me, of like the little kid, got you, like because because in my mind I'm like, yeah, that's cool. They probably thought I wrote it and rehearsed it and all these things, and they don't even fucking know that's just my life, bro. And I just came up here, Ruffian came up to me afterwards and he's like, how'd you do that? Like, he's like, was that all like made up? And I was like, the only part that uh, that I thought of was a theme. And I used an old reggae song and it's dreadlock can live in a tenement yard. Too
Hmm.
much watchy, too much shisha. Like, so I use that to facilitate healing for myself and talk about Trayvon Martin, rest in power, talk about Josiah, rest in power, like, and talk about not only African people, but indigenous people and Mexican people and Puerto Rican people and just men and women and yeah, I'm saying, and just fucking go off on it or whatever. And I just went as hard as I could. I was basically yelling at like everybody in the sanctuary or whatever. And um, it was healing because I tapped into that fucking part of my brain that was like, all right, we about to we about to somewhat trauma dump. But now that I'm old enough and I've learned from my lessons in the past, I'm also like, all right, check yourself at the door. Are you ready to do this? Are you okay to do this right now? Are you going to be okay afterwards? And it's like, I am. And then that's what helped me fucking just tap into it and just be fully present with it and just look people in the eyes. And I ain't gonna lie, I scared a couple of people because I stared at them when I was screaming, you know what I'm saying?
I know that experience of looking somebody in the eye and then they get scared. They
So,
like look away, like.
yeah, it's like, look over there, man, please. Yeah. Oh,
Like I felt like you needed to hear this. I'm sorry. Like I don't really choose where I look. It just. it just happens.
Yeah, exactly. It just beams into you. I might need to hold on. I might need to go get my charger, my
Okay,
phone.
we'll put it on pause real quick.
Yeah.
We back. So you was just talking about freestyling that. I something I actually want to get into real quick is freestyling. Like I've seen you do the craziest freestyles in my life.
Yeah.
Like hanging out back in the day we would hang out. It was like Phoebe, why the fuck am I drawing a blank on everybody's name right now?
Yeah. Phoebe, Tyler,
Yeah,
Forrest,
Tyler, Forrest, all the home.
Trevor, Brant, like,
Hmm.
yeah, all the cats. That's, yeah. They used to be from the treehouse, but then they moved out to treehouse, and we, I guess, Brant's house just used to be like the spot or whatever. I would try to do that so often, bro. Like I would try to do that like at least once a week. Get like all those cats together and just make people freestyle. Uh,
Yeah, you got me to freestyle a couple times. I think the best I've ever freestyled has been around y'all, for sure.
yeah,
Especially
they
that
call
one night I was on mushrooms and it was New Year's. I fucking went
yeah,
off.
yeah, no, yeah.
I
So
almost got to
they,
that point where I felt like people were like, "Okay, bro, stop," like because I just couldn't stop.
yeah, no, I've experienced that to where like you can't, um, you probably shouldn't freestyle when you do. I probably shouldn't freestyle when I do mushrooms because I'll fucking freestyle for 8 hours straight.
Oh yeah, I just could not stop. I was just like go
Yeah,
doing different like character voices and shit, and like
yeah.
like a
Well,
play almost. I wish somebody would have recorded it. I've never done that again in my life. It was fucking crazy.
yeah. It's yeah.
And then I went out and like after everybody was gone, I was like freestyling around town like with the homeless people because I
And
couldn't go to sleep.
yeah, yeah. Because you tapped in. You
Yeah.
tapped in. You know what I'm
I think
saying?
I was living in my car at the time too though, so it's like I was outside, so
Yeah, yeah. No, it's they called me the they called it the cauldron circle because they felt like every time I freestyled in front of people, I was stirring the cauldron. Like I stirred the pot or whatever and brought something out in people. And all what I'll say to that is all I brought out of them was belief. I gave them belief. I believed in them for 5 minutes, and then 8 hours later, they believed in themselves.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? like,
I think
cause
that is also something that you're really good at. It's like expressing your appreciation of people and your belief in them, and it makes people believe in themselves
yeah, yeah,
because you really do believe, and like they could feel that.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, no, like I fucking believe. I've almost gotten in fights because of it. Like, because people, like, I've been face to face with people, and I've just been like, I felt for some fucking reason that this dude needed to be told, "I love you," and and I'm sorry for all the shit you've gone through, and that triggered it. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe he wasn't ready to hear that, but for some reason, something came through me and had to say it. And he got up in my face and was like, "What the fuck? You don't know me?" And I was like, "It's okay. You don't have to be hard right now." And then he broke down and cried.
Mm.
And I, I was like, "Bro, I'm honestly, I'm not trying to make you cry." And he's like, "No, no, no, no. It's good. Sorry I got in your face." It's like, "It's good. What the fuck is wrong with you?" he's like, he's like, he's like, "Who are you?" Like, like I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just Francis. I'm just living life. I
You just
love it.
you're clear. You're clear. You're an instrument. That's what you
Yeah,
are. You know.
yeah, exactly. And just to touch on that for a second, I'm realizing now, uh, that like because I've tried to learn piano and guitar and all that stuff because I used to know um, a bunch of songs on guitar and piano, and then I got hit by a car, and then I couldn't remember like how to put my hands and remember the frets and the keys and the notes and stuff. And um, I'm realizing now that I am an instrument.
Yeah.
Like my voice, learning how to use this in many different ways is your instrument. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily need, and that's no shade on anybody else that got an instrument or plays with an instrument. I would love to learn another instrument, but also I have to acknowledge that I do have one and I master it well. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's still in practice. That's why
Yeah.
every master, that's why every master that's teaching you something, the place in which they teach you it is called a practice because you're always in practice. You know what I'm saying? So,
Always.
yeah. So,
So, speaking of practice, how do you practice when it comes to just like your voice and opening up your voice? Because I know you've been doing a lot more singing recently,
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like do you have a specific practice or drills that you go through?
Uh, I'll be 100% honest with you. Um, I smoke, I smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigarettes and drink black coffee. So that I can go through my full range. Every time I tried to do, um, because that's how I've practiced throughout. So my vocal cords and everything is used to that. So every time I've tried to do like tea and honey, uh, it made it to where I couldn't control certain notes. When I tried to do la 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 la, like and do all those things, I got up in my head and was like, "Oh, I'm off." Like,
Mm.
and every time I tried to do the fuck are they called? Like when you do like tongue twisters basically to uh warm up your cheek and your jaw.
Tongue. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So when I tried to do that, it would just get me in the like I'd be like, that fucking tongue twister don't make sense. Like you know what I'm saying? So I go in all these different I'm an example of I'm an example of everybody works in different ways because I literally tried everything that works for like a lot of people and it doesn't fucking work for me. Um, so I smoke, and it's not just a cigarette. It's like I was saying before, it's sage and mugwort and mullein and sometimes catnip, depending on if it's like a lot of anxiety producing uh in the show or whatever. Like there's a lot of house music or some shit that's just like a lot more energy hyped up. Uh, passion flower. Like I mix that with my tobacco, and then sometimes, um, way before the show, like 8 hours before the show, I'll roll a spliff of hash and tobacco, and I'll smoke that, and then I'll do a whole session, like an hour session of breath work. You know what I'm saying? And that, and by the time I'm done with the breath work, I'm not even blessed anymore in the sense, yeah, like I
I've
worked.
definitely experienced that before. You like almost like it's almost like you metabolize the high.
Yeah,
It's a really interesting experience.
yeah, which makes more sense for what you're using it. Like you're using it as medicine, so it makes more sense that you would only feel a peak, and then everything else just kind of fades into the background because your body accepts it.
What when you do that hour of breath work, like what do you typically do? Is there a routine that you run through, or is it more just like what you feel like you need in the moment?
It's more like what I feel in the moment because every show, every practice is different because it's usually with a bunch of it's with different MCs and with different DJs and with different venues and stuff. So it's usually I try and be flexible in that way. Um, I'm just now starting to build a routine where I wake up and um, I listen to. Do you know who Faith Soul is?
Nah.
Yeah, I think I recommended him to you a while back, but it was in the middle of the show. So, but um, but his name's Space Soul, and so he makes music um primarily using his voice. Like he beatboxes, then he hums, and then he sings
Okay, yeah, you
over.
were telling me about them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I listened to one of his newer albums, and um, just look up Face Soul on YouTube, and you'll find him. Um, he's a he's a melanated person, and he has like curly hair, longer curly hair. Um, and yeah, it's just like about love, self love, healing. Um, and I listened to that playlist for the hour, and like I said, I do the Kake Mudra, the crow's beak. Um, Another one that I like if I'm feeling like stressed or even scared, I do dragon's breath.
Mm.
Because that brings your inner fire out. And a lot of the time when we get scared and we're worried, we don't notice because we're not tapped in. We don't notice, but we might be cold and or we might be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so what for me, what brings comfort is fire. And
Mm.
so with the dragon's breath, you can actually bring your temperature up, and you can heat your own body by doing the dragon's breath. Even if you don't go, but you go with just your teeth, it warms your throat. And then you breathe in through your nose and bring all that heat from your throat chakra down into your heart chakra, into your solar plexus chakra, into your root chakra, like, and it warms the rest of your chakras. And before you know it, like even just doing it just now, my head feels warmer. You know what I'm saying? And that was just one breath, and I was just an example, not even doing the full thing. Um, Another one is the crow's beak also helps for cooling, so you don't have to um, you just take the holds out. You
Yeah,
don't
take the
hold.
locks out. Yeah.
Yeah, take the locks out and like one right after another, and you do that for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll
Mm.
notice that your throat is cooler. And then you do the same thing as dragon's breath. You then after that whole process of doing that, you breathe in through your nose for like 2 minutes and allow that coolness to go through the rest of your body.
That sounds nice. I'm about to try that actually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it fucking helps, man. It's that's like the best medicine I've found through the years.
I say the same.
Yeah, my top three medicines that help with performing and practicing prayer forming and practicing is uh, breath work, qigong, and cannabis.
Mm.
Like the use of cannabis, and you don't even need. Sometimes I just get oil. You know what I'm saying, like a salve or whatever, and rub it on the back of my neck just to know that cannabis got me. You know what I'm saying? Not even to get blessed or anything like that, but just to be thankful of that plant because it helped me and has so many healing properties that I've used it in multiple different ways. Just to know that it got me. Sometimes I just take a jar with me and put it in my bag just to be grateful of that medicine. I don't even use it that time. I just be grateful of that medicine that is with me, and that someone might fucking need it or whatever, and they've never tried it before, and it could be the one thing that's missing in their daily life.
Yeah, I think you sharing this right now is actually making me have a lot of reverence and respect for cannabis. I'm like in the process of not smoking right now, but even like the last time that I smoked, I like kind of prayed about it and thanked the spirit and the
Yeah,
ancestors and the people who have cultivated it for so long. It is really a powerful plant, and when you use it in the right way, it's I mean, it's done a lot for me, definitely over the
yeah,
years.
yeah. I I went through my struggles with it because I smoked a lot when I was like 17 because I have like ADHD and stuff, and so I was on like Adderall for a long ass time from when I was like 6 until I was 15, like actually prescribed and stuff, and then I quit cold turkey, and I smoked weed one time when I was 15, and I was like, that's gonna work, but I'm not ready for it because it got hella high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And, like I just went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I could feel my heartbeat and it was hard to swallow. And I
Rock for that.
yeah. And so I didn't do it. I didn't use it until I was about 17. And then I used it all the way until I was like 22. And I kept trying to work with people and work on hills and work on cannabis projects. And one thing I want to touch on, if it's okay, is racism out here. Is
Mhm.
that like, um, I've even had people come up to me on a farm and been like, I've never seen a black person on a farm. And it's because some of those cats are so old school and stuck in their ways and their racist mind that they automatically assume that I'm gonna steal their shit or that I have a gun or that I'm gonna rob their whole project or whatever. That I got kicked off of hills before and I got kicked off of mountains because someone stole something. Someone did steal something, but
Mm.
it wasn't me. But because I was the only black person, they blamed me. And like something happened with this, that, and the third, and I got blamed for that too because I was the only black guy. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, or I was willing. I wasn't the only black person, but I was willing to do more than other people, and so they thought of that as suspicious, and so they blamed me and got kicked off the mountain. You know what I'm saying? So only now, pretty much this whole year, I've been, I've met good people that work with cannabis, and they fucking trust me wholeheartedly and I trust them wholeheartedly. And I just have so much love and appreciation for cannabis now. Like, cause I demonized it almost. You know what I'm saying? After those experiences, I fucking went into like the regular job force, like McDonald's and worked like a regular job. And then I was like, fuck weed. Like I ain't never smoking weed. Like, no, I'll never want to deal with like cannabis ever again. And then this year, I've accepted it as a medicine because for the past 3 years, no, for the past 5 years, 5, 6 years, I've been using cannabis to help me with my seizures. And it's the only fucking thing that after a seizure, I smoke some cannabis with THC and CBD and I'm good. Like, I'm actually good. Like, my muscles feel better. And I don't be smoking all day long and stuff like that. Nah, just roll me up one. You know what I'm saying? And I'll hit it throughout the day to kind of come back cognitively. And for the most part, I try to make it ceremonial uh, to where I'm not smoking every day. I don't smoke every day, all day, stuff like that. I do the herbs and the cigarettes, obviously, because I'm addicted to the nicotine or whatever. But I'm getting to the process even with those where I can make them ceremonial to where I sit down and I'm like, this is time for me to process the day and to give myself some healing. Hold up.
I heard the airplane. Yeah, it's good now. I don't hear it.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, but it's good for me to sit down and be like, I'm gonna be in this moment, really enjoy this, and see what it does for my brain, and see what it does healing me, for healing me. You know what I'm saying as a person. So you finally came in here, Charlie girl. She finally just came in instead of fucking knocking at the door.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
metaphor for something.
Oh yeah, of course. But she's my little buddy. Like she's basically she's never been trained to be a seizure dog, but on August 24th I had a really bad seizure and I like knocked over my keyboard in my room and like knocked over some chairs and like all kinds of shit. And she was in there with me. And so I crawled to the door and like before I like fully went into it and opened the door. She was freaking out, running around in circles and shit, barking as loud as she could. And then she ran outside and got people.
Mm.
Never been trained to do any of it. Like, and she was barking at me before I went into the season. Like, she was like, "Sit down, motherfucker." Like,
Mm. Yeah, she can probably feel it.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like there's living angels on this planet in people, oftentimes, but also like in animals. And I
Yeah,
feel like people don't notice that, don't
yeah.
realize that.
Nope, they don't. Yeah, that's my little buddy right there. That's I love her to death. She's fucking hilarious. She sounds like a grown man when she's sleeping. I don't know if you
Oh
sleep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, bro. It's fucking nuts. It's like actually like you would think there's a bear trying
mm.
to find some food in my room or whatever because she snores and it sounds like a full grown man snoring. So, yeah, it's nuts. But she's cute. She's cool though.
All right, so I got a couple more questions for you. Then we'll.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
so
we ain't seen each other for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So it's also like we get
no,
caught up in the homie.
we're gonna
Yeah.
have to do a part two because
Yeah.
you know there was a couple things that we were talking about that I wanted to go into, but I was like, nah, we'll just say that for the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Most
Just a
definitely.
couple more questions I just like want to ask you before we close out. And the first one is who is your biggest supporter?
Who is my biggest supporter? Sequoia Folk, the person who runs Shady Manila Records. He's one of my biggest supporters. If not if not the biggest supporter. He just kind of like pushes me. I guess it's not really one person. It's all my friends. It's like all the MCs that I freestyle with under the bridge. You know what I'm saying? It's you, it's brother, you know what I'm saying? It's Ducky, like it's you know what I'm saying? It's all
Gravy.
my yeah, it's gravy. Like why you think I named the song after? Like, but, but it's it's so many it's people it, it's the experiences that we have with each other is the reason why I can do what I do.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So yes, I would say Sequoia Folk, if I had to choose one person, he's the person that kind of like kept me steadfast and helped me get this album orchestrated and set to where we could get it out to many people and stuff like that. But also just hey, quit it. Um, but it's yeah, Sequoia Folk, it's Ruffian, it's Cam is dope, it's Knack One, it's um yeah, I'm saying it's Flo J Simpson, it's Raw, you know what I'm saying? It's Bommy Delay. It's man, like it's the Riley case, it's mental case, it's Rye Stone, it's ATG, it's Reap, it's Soul, it's Rowdy, you know what I'm saying? It's Maniac 707, it's David Haney, it's Height, it's Owlbear, like it's all these people. So like, yeah, it's Johnny Angel. Yeah, you know like it's Cinny. Like I could go on forever and ever and ever and never run out of support.
mm.
Yeah, yeah. So my greatest supporter is a lot of people. So I guess I don't have just one. You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's like all hip hop humble, basically. By the way, shout out to the Hip Hop Humble podcast. Y'all should
yeah,
check that out, especially if you're interested in what's going on in Humble, because we got a lot of dope stuff going on out here.
yeah. We do.
Special people.
Yeah. Which I was telling David that it's unique. Our hip hop, the hip hop that we make is unique. You know what I'm saying? And it needs to be heard. It's unlike anything I've heard in any other place. You know what I'm saying? So it's uniquely ours because we live here and we know how it is to live here and we know how it is to walk and chop and go out to eat with people here and stuff. And so we're spitting those stories and it's a beautiful thing. It's it's such a beautiful place and there's so many beautiful people here and that's I I purposefully made a choice not to get into um not to feed so much into the racism, because you have a choice. You know what I'm saying? You have a choice to fucking let that get to you, and let people calling you the N-word get to you, and let people stop down the road and shit and stare at you. You could let that get to you, or you could wave hi and keep walking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I do. I know they're looking at me weird because I got, you know what I'm saying, natty dreadlocks, and they're like, holy
Got
shit.
the antennas. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is my antennae, bro. Like, I really don't care what you think about it, because I'm gonna bring this shit up on every podcast I'm on. Is this is the greatest my head, my scalp, physically, my body. This is the greatest my scalp has felt ever. And I've shaved my head. I've done fades. I've done a full afro. I've done cornrows. I've done just like not combing it and letting it do its thing before it goes in the dreadlocks and stuff. And this is the most like healthy my hair has been, my face, everything has been since I don't even know when. And I just leave it the fuck alone. I leave it the fuck alone. I spray I got what's it called? Argan oil.
Mm-hmm.
I, I spray argan oil and witch hazel. I put it in a little spray bottle, and witch hazel and argan oil, and I spray that on my head like twice a week or whatever. And that helps with like hair growth and making it strong and everything. But it also detoxifies my scalp. You know what I'm saying? And then once a month, I wash with um, uh, there's Head and Shoulders, but there's also Head and Shoulders makes one for people with like a bunch of curls and shit. It's called Royal Curls. And
Bro, curls.
yeah, it's in a blue and gold bottle. And I use the tiniest bit, and I mix that with a bunch of water, and then I pour that shit on my head. And then it, you know what I'm saying, because it has zinc in it. It kills any like bad bacteria on my head and shit, but allows all the other stuff to live. So
Sounds like something I need.
yeah, yeah, no, cause
Curls. I just hop in the shower. That's it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. More like I don't got no itchiness, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I be treating my head with the oil that I bless and stuff and pray over. And then I pray over the witch hazel and everything. And then I spray it on my head. And then I just leave it alone. And I try to do it when it's sunny, so it don't just be sitting on top of my head and stuff. And then I don't put anything over my hair. Uh, like I be sometimes you see me with like beanies, or you see me with a tam on. Um, but for the most part, when I'm out, yeah, at my house and stuff like that, kind of like a Rasta man's ideology is I don't show my hair to people, to random people. You know what I'm saying? I pretty much only have my hair out when I'm around people I love and when I'm around water. And so now I'm just starting to kind of uh, bridge out of that and be okay with like just leaving it out. But you definitely feel a difference because you tap in to
I
it.
yeah, no, I
Yeah,
feel a difference too. Like sometimes I'll go out the house and I won't have my head covered.
yeah,
And I'll be like, fuck, should I go back home right now? Because it just doesn't feel right.
yeah.
Feels right when I'm like around certain people and certain energies, but
Mhm.
it almost feels like I need to protect myself. That's why I often do have something
Yeah,
on my head.
yeah. And that's why, because you're tapping in. Like this is antenna. Even not in the form of dreadlocks. If you let your hair grow, that's antennae. You know what I'm saying? And even when you shaved it off, why do you think it grow fast? Why do you think it grows out your head like that? You know what I'm saying? It's all sharp and fucking pointy and shit at first when it like first comes out the scalp. It's because it's little antennae trying to live and trying to give you more information that you're not gonna get off the phone. And you're not gonna get in a book. You know what I'm saying? A lot of information we get just from living. Why you think you can
Mm.
drop a baby in some water and it'll hold his breath?
Yep. A lot
Yeah,
of say that again. A lot of information we get from living. Is that what you said?
yeah. A lot of most of the information that we get is from living.
Mm.
Yeah. Like, why do you think
So
you
you
can
gotta
drop a
live.
baby? Yeah. Why do you think you could drop a baby in some water and he'll just fucking hold his breath? You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying don't go drop babies in water. Like, I'm not saying don't fucking get curious. I know some people out there is wild, so don't get curious and go drop your baby in water. But
That's
you,
abuse.
yeah, that's abuse. But but yeah, just scientifically proven because you think about it, when we're in the womb, we're basically breathing liquid. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So it's such an oxygen rich environment that we're breathing liquid. You know what I'm saying? We're living in a little liquid cell for 9 months. You know what I'm saying?
But it's, I mean, air is just like a different density of liquid too.
Exactly. It's just more separated. There's just more molecules in between the H2O and the different atoms. That's it. That's why it gets harder to breathe the more elevation you increase. You know what I'm saying? Because the water molecules get closer and closer together and it pushes the oxygen out.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I told you I love science. Like,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can say that. All
yeah,
right, two more questions. If you had to pick one song, I'll say from your, it might be the same thing, but like it can be one song from your entire catalog or one song from your recent album that you, if you could share one song with people, what would it be? In terms of a song for healing.
yeah. Um, Verge's heart. Yeah, Verge's heart. That's the one where I kind of walk everybody through breathing as well through
Yeah,
it.
that was really dope. I actually really like that about that song.
Yeah, so it's like walking everyone through like a breathing exercise. And the reason I did that is because what I'm saying within the song is very traumatic. And so
Hmm.
I didn't want people to attach to it and carry that into their life. So I wanted them to stay fully present, but have control of their presence, you know? And so that's why I continue to get you to breathe through it so you check in with your body and not get too caught up in my story
Mm.
and get overwhelmed. But also, it helps you to radically listen. It helps you pay attention because let's be honest, most songs and most information nowadays is like 2 minutes of a bunch of information, and then you're kind of tired of it because everything's instant gratification nowadays. So a lot of my songs are long and like long-winded almost, comparatively to other songs that I could like pull up right now or you see on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. It's like 30 seconds and they fucking tell you about their whole life. Uh, and so I really wanted it. I wanted people to be present in what I was saying. That song was so hard to record. I
Mm.
cried. I cried every time Sequoia hit record. I was crying, bro. Like we had to close the shades in the studio. We had to like take a minute or whatever. And he's like, "You got this, bro." Like he's like, "It's so powerful." He's like, "I'm sorry that like this shit is so hard, but like let's do this shit." And I was like, "All right." Like, and I left the shakiness in my voice in the overall recording because that is and that's also Sequoia as well doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just me. Because he's like the engineer, he's the mixing, mastering, he's the producer. Like the producer of that specific beat is the Riley Case. Um, Casey is one of the dopest people that. Wow, man! Like, anyway, I I really had a hard time recording that song because it was so truthful. You know what I'm saying, to my life and the shit that I was going through and the shit that my mom had to go through and that my grandma had to go through. And that's my grandma's address, what I started off with, 1118 South Spruce, where I have grown and damaged roots.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was growing there, but I also got severely traumatized there. And that's just one line. And so every line I try to make sure that every line in all of my songs is saying a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm saying it's not just one line. It's a bunch of thoughts that came into that, and there's a whole story behind each line, if that makes sense.
It makes a whole lot of sense. That's how it feels. It's just like listening to the whole project. There's such a range of experiences and emotions and thoughts and my own stories like generated from the way that I could resonate to your stories. It's just there's every single time I listen to one of your songs, there's something else that I pick up that I'm attached.
Yeah, thank you. Oh man, thank you. I I wrote it for me to facilitate healing for all the things that I've been talking about through therapy and all the things I've been talking about um through just like regular life. Um and just try and I was trying to be completely honest. And then the other thought behind it was if I could help anybody else, just one person, then I'm happy with that. And so that's also why I wanted to get it on all as many streaming platforms as I could. Because I wasn't going into this one with SoundCloud and all that stuff, the other projects that I was like, I just want to get it out and people can listen to it for free. Uh, but with this one, I was like, I want people to listen to this one because I want people to heal from it in some way or some fashion. Um, and so uh, it honest, that album, that album was also songs like This Too Shall Pass.
Yeah.
That song's like a year, maybe a year and a half old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've actually heard that chorus before.
Yeah. We've performed it. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, that's why I've heard it.
Like,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Performed. Yeah.
We've performed. That was the first song that I performed with like that, like with our whole crew or whatever of people, like Sequoia Folk and ATG and Ruffian and all. Like, it's me, or it's ATG, then Sequoia Folk, and then me, and me and ATG on the like hook and stuff. And that was the first song that I memorized while I was writing Ego Pain, and I was like, bro, I fucking did it. Like, I remembered the lyrics. Like, I was like, oh shit, like I can do it. And then after that, I just kept telling myself, you can do it, you can do it, like you can do it. And then I fucking performed Ego Pain at ATL, and I was like, oh yeah, no, you could do this. Like you're good. And then I created a set, and then I performed that set at a show opening for Highway and Knack One, and um, and then after that, I just started really delving deep into the album and going. That actually just we had like 4 songs in the clip already. You know what I'm saying? That were just like songs I came over and recorded. And me and Sequoia and Ian were like, oh man, you got enough for a project. And I was like, oh, you know what? We do. And so he's like, do you want to add anything? And, 4 songs turned into 5, 6 songs, 7 songs. And then it turned into a whole project. And then I got my mom on there and I started getting um, more specific on what I wanted to go, where I wanted to go with it, but I wanted to also keep it objective and raw. Yeah,
Is there gonna be a Sequoia Falk and Friends Volume 2?
yeah. It's funny that like that first project, when Francis made Friends, I ended up naming another album Verge Folk and Friends, like having the friends in there. That was just coincidence. But yeah, there'll definitely be, I think it's going to be an ongoing thing. And then what I'll do is I'll just mix up the features, you know what I'm saying, and just have different people on everyone, some of the same, some different, or maybe it's always the same. I don't really know, but whoever's down to get on it, uh, like I'm more than happy to make music with my homies, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm up for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. We need to get we need to get some songs together, man. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, we've been saying that for years.
Yes.
uh, remember, we wanted to make a project, and we was gonna call it "Holy Shit."
Oh yeah. I remember that. That was like a couple years ago, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all right, bet. We like sent each other instrumentals. I think I still have the verses. It's fucking hilarious, but it it's all good. Everything will come in time.
Yeah,
Uh,
everything in due time.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I think I answered your question. I don't
Yeah, yeah, you
know.
answered the question.
Yeah,
I almost forgot what the question was, but I'm sure you answered it.
that's somewhere in there. Sorry, I
No,
have long-winded answers. So fucking,
it's all good. You know, we're getting people to have a long wind, have a
mm,
long breath, long exhale. It's the key.
yep.
So, any last words you want to share with the people?
Uh, Jeff, I think you had one more question.
I had one more question.
Yeah, you said two, and then you gave me that one, and then I think you had one more. I was just like,
I'm looking at these questions to see which one I haven't gone over. Some of them we already went over, just like
oh,
naturally in the discussion. Hmm.
oh, that last one was all right. So the last one was which one was your which one was the one that facilitated healing, or which one would you recommend?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Verge's heart, and then I don't know if I don't know if I yeah, I answered that question, but because it was Verge's heart, so I think I just went on a rant after that.
You gave more of the story, more of the texture, more of the context.
Yeah,
And yeah, go listen to that song, y'all. Listen
yeah,
to the whole project from start to finish. Like it's a beautiful piece of work. It's not just rapping too. It's like singing as well. It's very melodic. It's like it feels good.
yeah, yeah,
Like I could tell that's like the intention you came in with was like something that was gonna feel good for people. And it
yeah,
does. It feels good.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I,
Yeah,
I
it's
really enjoy the way like you're experimenting and evolving as an artist.
yeah.
It's just gonna
No,
continue. That's the really dope thing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I just looked up. I might get a saxophone here. Um, and I know someone who plays saxophone and piano and bass. So I'm gonna learn piano and saxophone at the same time. And I'm learning how to use a looper for my voice so that I could just use
Mm.
uh, I like record just like the baseline melody, and then go over it with some like higher notes and stuff, and then I beatbox, and then I sing over that, and then I'm also learning instruments and stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. I'm looking forward to seeing how that evolves the whole craft.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's I'm excited. Uh, I just like I said, I'll say this until the day I go into the next life. Honestly, I just want to live. I I truly just want to live. I don't care about money. Um, I don't care about fame. I really love that moment when you talk to a person and you both agree, and it almost feels like some type of liquid falls from the sky and coats you guys, and you're just in the moment completely with that person. I enjoy the moment with other people.
Mm.
Uh, and that's what I write about. I write about my life. I've never experienced writer's block at all because I've always just written about my life. Locksmith says that. He's like, I don't experience writer's block because I write about my life. Um, and Ruffian told me that, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah. Like that makes sense. Like I can't. I'm still living. The only way I will get writer's block if I'm writing about my life is if I die. Like,
That's real though.
like
I've also never ever experienced writer's block. Same thing, because I write about life. How the fuck could I see a stop sign and somehow that'll inspire me to write a bar. Sometimes I
yeah,
have to turn it off, like, okay, I'm at work right now. I can't think about bars and
yeah,
shit.
yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you wholeheartedly. I fucking. That's what I was telling you. When I get blessed, sometimes I'll rap for like 3 hours or whatever. Uh, I'll rap for 3 hours, and my lady will literally come outside and be like, "Bro, it's like midnight, and you rapping in the carport." Like, she's like, "Come on, like you gotta stop." And I was like, "I can't." Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I turn around, my dreadlocks are all standing on end and shit because I'm like, I'm finally tapping in and shit. Like, and that's one thing like people don't realize. These things move, bro. These things move. They're not just some crazy hairstyle that
They're not
people made
lifeless.
up.
Like people say, they're like, no, it's not. Hair is not lifeless.
No, it's not lifeless. Like on some real shit, when I get the oil and I spray the oil on there, about like 20, 30 minutes after that, everything's standing up on end. I look like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. All right, and like it's straight up just standing on end, and I'm like, whoa, like bro, I could literally feel that you need to fart right now. Like, like, uh, I just, I truly enjoy the moment, and I truly enjoy. I love making music. Like I feel unapologetically sound. Like when I'm making music, I'm just like nothing else matters. Nothing because it can't. It can't matter. It doesn't have music gives meaning to life for me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And so when I make music, it's kind of like saying thank you.
Mm.
So that's yeah, saying thank you to the universe, saying thank you to music. Like how how could I not be grateful for the gift that I possess? Yeah. And acknowledging that presence in that moment. So
Mm. Bar, bar after bar.
yeah, it's yeah, man. Uh last words I guess would be just fucking live, man. Live. Try your very best to be in the moment, even if it's horrible, because sometimes I have horrible ass moments and I still see the beauty within them. And I still see the learning process within the horrible moments. Um, Listen to as much music as you can, dance, laugh. That thing you're thinking about doing, just fucking do it because that's how you're going to realize that it was a horrible ass idea or that it was the thing that was always missing.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking do it. And um, if you want to, if you want to check out my music, it's on Spotify, Apple Music. It's on a bunch of other different platforms. Um, just my name, Francis Verges. Uh, and then my Instagram is Verges Life. And on YouTube, you could look up Francis Verges. On SoundCloud, it's Verges93. Uh, and that's like my older projects that I was talking about. And you can kind of see my growth as an artist and as a human. So,
I'll definitely put all of that stuff down below for y'all to look at. Make sure you
yeah,
send it to me too.
respect. Yeah. No, thank you so much for taking the time to like listen to me and giving me a platform to like speak my truth and being present with me this whole time because I know I'm long-winded as a motherfucker. So thank you.
I appreciate your words. I really do. That's right. I really wanted to talk to you, especially after I listened to the album a couple times. I was like, oh, I got to get Verge on. I,
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the other the only other song that I would recommend that people try and listen to, especially people who aren't rappers and who aren't hip hop artists, is Lost in a Rhyme. Is because people be fucking judging us when we're like walking around and freestyling and shit like that, or even when we're freestyling into a mic. People be judging us and thinking we're fucking crazy or whatever, and that we're just like talking to nothingness. But and I am crazy, so I don't really give a fuck about that. But um, Lost in a Rhyme kind of explains it,
Mm.
like why we do what we do and when we do what we do, like what's really going on when that dude's fucking spitting bars at a tree. You know what I'm saying? It's because I'm lost in a rhyme. Like, like, don't fucking whatever. Judge me. I don't really care. But it's an explanation to rappers and non-rappers. And Ruffian's the feature on that one. And that was actually his idea. And we recorded that. And then he was like, bro, keep it for your next project. And I was like, all right, bet. And that was it. Like, fucking put it on the next project. Like that actually got recorded probably like a week after we recorded. Remember the two songs we recorded for his album?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot what they were called, but
yeah. Beaches, Beaches, and
yeah,
I forgot the other one. But I love both those songs. They're amazing. But check out Ruffian's album too. Yeah, and it's man, so many amazing artists. But anyway, that was my last words. I love everybody. Um, I love all my homies out here. I already said a bunch of names, so I'm just gonna say I love all y'all, and I love this hip hop scene, and I love Humboldt, and I love Mama Earth, and I love my body, and I love who I am, and so I'm just trying to share that with the world. Love you guys and blessings.
we love you too.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you, man.
yeah.
So if y'all enjoyed this episode, leave a thumbs up, let us know in the comments, and keep tuning in. I got a large list of people that I'm trying to interview. Like this is probably gonna go into the hundreds, I'm sure, over the years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna interview a lot of people. I'm probably gonna have Verge back a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
Years too, whenever you drop a project or whatever. And I hope from this episode that y'all felt encouraged, empowered, inspired, healed. I know that I did. So
Word.
I hope
Hey,
you did as well. Make sure to follow my bro.
thank you.
I'll put all the
Thank
information down below. You could also follow me. Check out my hip hop workshops, breathwork classes, course coming out on the way. Links will all be down below. Until next time, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for viewing. And breathe easy, be well.
you. Yeah. I'll list it.